Action!
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of All Talk with me, Mike All. Thanks for joining us. Today I got another funny guy from the Chicagoland area. I look really forward to talking with him because he grew up in Southern Illinois, and as I'm sure you can already tell by looking, we have some differences in sports opinions. Today we have Derek Graff. What's going on, Derek? How you doing?
Hey, doing well, all things
That's
considered.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? I kind of consider these interview things that I'm doing with everybody kind of like a wellness check as well. Like,
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, any excuse for the semblance of human contact, you know?
yeah,
Great.
exactly. So, since you do stand-up comedy, we always hit a lot of those questions and kind of stuff. You're still pretty young at 29. How long have you been doing comedy, though?
Well, I just turned 30, but I've been doing it for 7 years now. The first time I tried it was St. Patrick's Day, 2013.
Wow.
So
St. Patty's Day in Chicago?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always that Saturday. It's never actually St. Patrick's Day, where it's the big.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, it was the day after. It's the day after my birthday. My birthday is the day before St. Patrick's Day, and you know how people say it's like one of those like kind of like a bucket list thing, like a thing I had been building up and
Yeah.
trying to get the nerve to do. And yeah, I don't know why St. Patrick's Day was the day, but
before that point, had you ever considered yourself funny?
I don't know. I don't, because I don't now. I don't, because I think I think being a funny person and being a comedian are two things that can overlap but don't necessarily, and I just don't think mine do. I don't know. So I think I was funny when I was a kid. I think I remember that, but I think I was like pretty young when I was funny. And I think the big thing is I always remember watching like The Daily Show and different things, and in my head, like being the arrogant kid that I was, just like punching it up, just being like, I think it would have been better if they had like twisted this phrase or said this instead. And I don't know. I think it was just a blind arrogance where I was like, I could do this.
I can do that. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like writing? Are you a writer or are you more of the performer type?
Oh, I definitely consider myself more of a writer than a performer. I don't think I'm a bad performer, but I think my writing is much better than my performing. I would say as a general statement about it.
Well, and I've worked with you several times. I mean, you're great on stage. You're funny, and the thing that's always funny to me about watching you on stage is your writing and your stage persona is very self-deprecating. But like off stage, you're not like that at all. You're a pretty confident guy. like it's
don't ruin
well,
yeah.
Look, very few people. The only person that I have ever met that like kept that persona, their on-stage persona, going so much is I opened for Emo Phillips one time, and he carries that persona with him constantly. It's actually impressive.
Yeah, one guy like that for me was Joe Mackey.
Oh, yeah, Mackey's
so
great.
funny and just as awkward off stage as on. Like it's amazing. I loved him. It was such an honor opening for him. But yeah, watching him interact with his own girlfriend just proved I was like, oh my god, yeah, he's just not great with people.
Awesome. Jacob Williamson is like that too. Yeah, I mean he's a great guy. You know, all of them are.
Oh right. Oh yeah, he's nice, just awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I've literally stood next to Jacob for like 5 minutes, not talking at all, just standing there. Then all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I'll see you later, man, and just walk
like, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean and I was more like my persona in different parts of my life for sure. It's definitely a big aspect of me. Even like when I started doing comedy, I think my like what little success I've had in comedy though, I have a lot more confidence in it, which is led to me being a more confident person in general. So I don't, you know, I still definitely have those aspects like to me, and it'll always be a part of me. But comedy has definitely helped me break out of that in real life.
Yeah.
That's
You're
broken out of it.
So you said you consider yourself more of a writer than a performer.
Oh, yeah.
Have you put together a writing package, or have you submitted any writing package? Or
I didn't say I was a hard worker. I said I was a no. I've written like some sketches and stuff that are just like ideas in like my notebooks and journals and stuff. But in terms of like an official writing packet to submit out to like a show or something, no, I really haven't prepared that.
Yeah.
I've mostly concentrated on stand-up. That's my excuse, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you think you would, if you were to get into more of the writing than the performing, do you think you would be more of a sketch writer or a stand-up writer?
Oh, stand-up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm much better at monologuing than dialoguing. Like without. Yeah.
Are you one of the? I used to be this comedian, and I still do this in my head, and I don't approach people as much anymore because it seems nowadays more people are like offended by it. But I love watching comedians, and when they come off stage, like, hey, here's here's something that I thought that would go with that, but not. Yeah. Do you like to do that?
Oh, to do that to other people? No, I'm so awkward and scared that they're gonna hate me and just be like, who do you think you are? And I'm so scared of that I would never do it. Yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe I've done it once or twice to like a comedian that I knew was like new, and I'm like, okay, there's some reason why I have some like the reason to do it. But to people like even close to my own level, I'm too scared.
I don't know. I love sitting in the back and watching people and being like, oh, that would be a great line. And I've given several lines to people, and for the most part they're pretty they're accepting, but every now and then you get that look of like, what the fuck,
right? Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I feel the most. So I mean, I still think it, but I don't necessarily say. I do have a fun story around that though. I was in Nashville, and they were having the show. I don't know if you heard about it, but they were doing where they were setting the world record for the longest continuous show. So it was like everyone was doing 15-minute sets, and they just kept it going for multiple days until they set the record. It was a lot of fun. But one time I got off stage, and one of the guys who was hosting, like maybe 10 minutes later, comes up to me and was like, hey, I don't know if you're okay with it, but here's a tag for a joke of yours. And I looked at it, and I went, that was the opener of the guy currently on stage. And the guy was like, damn it, my bad. I do that. This is the joke that guy opened with.
You're like, it's a great job. It's a good job.
No, yeah, he approved of it. I just, not for me.
not there for me. Not there for me. So it's funny, when I was doing a little bit of research to find you, I'm sure you've probably seen this before. If you just put in Derek Graff, do you know who or what the first thing that comes up is?
I mean, I'm logged into my own stuff, so I don't know for sure.
So if I Google Derek Graff, even putting 2 F's in, because you're RAFF, you still get a stuntman.
Oh, okay.
There's a stuntman, Derek Graff, with 1 F.
Yeah, there's an actor who he played like a clown in Zombieland. I think.
Yes, he came up too.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, this was, I think, at least a few years ago, when people discovered that Facebook had like the filtered messages within the messenger.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, look at all these messages from randos and bots that I missed. Well, one random person on Facebook, I was looking through it and messaged me and just said, were you in Zombieland? It's been like a year since the message, so I didn't respond, but it was just like, okay.
I wish I wish I had gotten that. And those filter things, like I had like 80 messages in there, and I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. I had four, maybe six messages that were six different people letting me know that my profile picture of me and my family and pictures of my daughter had been stolen and were being used for fake accounts.
What?
Yeah, man.
You were like the victim of a catfish, sort of? You were like the
Yeah.
person they were using? Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like,
Oh, I've been watching a lot of catfish lately, so that is actually very fascinating to me. Oh, that's awesome.
but so I noticed when I was looking up, I was watching your video because you started doing some videos about betting. Are you a big bettor? Are you a big gambler? Or is it just something you kind of like?
I mean, in the sense that I really, really enjoy it, yeah. I don't bet. I'm the kind of guy, I bet a lot of games, but not a lot of money on each game, like $5 to $10, but like
Yeah.
a lot of games, because I just really enjoy it, and it makes things more fun. So yeah, and I like talking about it. I love the math behind it. I'm a big like nerd in that sense. I've always been a big math guy. Like I'm an engineer during the day, so I've spent my whole life doing math, and so I'm fascinated behind like the statistical models that people try to use to beat the Vegas lines, and I find all that stuff really fascinating. I don't know how to translate it into like solid YouTube content yet, but
Right.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. And so yeah, I'm starting to make like videos about my gambling and what I think about sports in general. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite sport to bet on?
Um, Probably baseball. Just because it's got some of the best like deep stats to look up, and a lot of statistical theories about like which stats are most relevant and how to factor in into your models. And I think to me that's just the most fascinating. I just really like working with those numbers. But soccer is the one that's on now. So right now it's
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah. Are you a soccer fan or do you just like betting it?
Yeah. I'm a big soccer fan. I played soccer through high school and then intramurals in college. I'm a goalie, and
Nice.
so I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I still watch it a lot. And I've got a German soccer team, Cologne, that I'm a big fan of, and we have like this group in Chicago that
Yeah.
meets up at AJ Hudson's when that's legal, and we watch games. And we've been doing like Zoom and Google Meet stuff during like while the games are on, and that's been a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. Are they having fans at those games or no?
No,
No.
no fans, and even well, there was a sort of a controversy around my team because they're not letting the mascots into the game, and the mascot of my team is a live goat, and they're not letting it into the stadium, and some fans were just like super mad about that for some reason. I don't know
Fucking
why.
goats.
So no fans, no goats, and even like the players on the benches. I noticed this watching one of the games. They're like sitting in the stands so that they can get like further apart. So like your players waiting to come
Wow.
into the game. Yeah, they're taking a lot of precautions.
Do you know if they're traveling to different stadiums or all the games kind of being played in one central place?
No, they're traveling to the stadiums as if everything was normal. That part of it's the same. Yeah, they're playing in people's home stadiums. Yeah.
So I've watched a little bit of the Korean baseball with no fans, and
Yeah.
I kind of figured because I mean we watched the Orioles 2 years ago, three
Oh
years ago
yeah.
play
Mhm.
without fans, so I always knew baseball out of all of the major sports would be fine without fans. You know, but I always thought soccer would be the hard. I love soccer. I played all the way through high school, and I always played wing because I could kick with my left foot, or I played goalie. I was a backup goalie.
Nice.
But I always thought soccer would be the hardest one because the fans are such a huge part of that sport.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely weird and similar to like the UFC fights. You can hear a lot of things you couldn't hear before, which makes it
Yeah.
a little bit more interesting. One thing in a game I was watching today, the Wolfsburg game, they were at home and they were playing over like the speakers, like the fans singing. So like with the fans doing different cheers, they were actually like pumping that into the stadium. So I thought that was, I mean, I assume that's within the rules. I don't know why else they do it, but yeah, that's an
Yeah,
interesting.
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Made it make it feel a little more real.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Yeah, the announcers seemed torn on whether they liked it or not. But I was like,
yeah. Which sport do you typically have the best winning record on in betting?
mm, that's a tough one. Probably also baseball.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm never gonna claim that I'm great. But well, either baseball or college basketball. College basketball is probably my favorite sport to watch. So I know a little bit more about it. So maybe college basketball, but I don't know. I'm a little under 500 and everything, I think.
Yeah. um, since you're such a big college basketball fan, what are your thoughts on the G League starting to grab, some of those players, like the number 5 overall, number 3 overall, leaving UCLA and going and playing G League?
I mean, I'm perfectly fine with that. I think make your money. I'm good with that. I mean, I don't necessarily love the concept of college sports. I just find it the most entertaining to watch. So, like the idea of players going, whether it be the G League or Europe or some alternative where they're actually getting paid to generate that revenue. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I mean, will
the
I
G
miss it?
League's gotten on. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just gonna say, I'll miss if something like that ends up lowering the level of college basketball. So be it. I don't know. I like the idea of players getting paid. So I'm okay.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I think they should all be getting paid, And the G League's gotten a lot better too. I mean, like it's a lot more watchable now than it used to be. Yeah, yeah. So, so you grew up in Mount Zion, Illinois, which is like what, about halfway in between Springfield, Illinois, and Indianapolis?
Well, more like halfway between Springfield and Champaign.
Okay.
So it's a suburb of Decatur. So the way I describe it is if you put a pin right in the center of the map of Illinois. That's where it is. It's right in the center. So yeah. So I'm from about 2 hours from St. Louis, 2.5 from Indianapolis, 3 from Chicago. So we kind of had our pick of what sports teams we wanted, except for I'd say baseball because my mom's side of the family is from Southern Illinois and they're very passionately Cardinals fans, and me and my brothers latched onto that.
Yeah.
And then Colts is just grew up in the Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison era, and just that's who me and my brother gravitated towards.
Yeah. I miss Edgerrin James. I think he was an underrated running back.
Absolutely. I really want to be part of the campaign for him to get into the Hall of Fame already because I think
he should be in. It's funny. I was talking with another friend of mine about this the other day about Hall of Famers and whatnot. So I have a question for you. I'm a diehard Lions fan. Mm-hmm. If Matthew Stafford's numbers are the exact same that they are now, but with a winning record, does he get into the Hall of Fame? Like, I don't think he gets in now because of his record, right? He's never won the division. He's only been to the playoffs twice, but his numbers are outstanding.
Oh, yeah. He's been a great fantasy quarterback, for the pretty much all his career. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Football Hall of Fame to know what constitutes getting in. He definitely have a better case. I mean, I think a lot of it's public perception and.
Oh yeah.
So,
For sure.
It is gonna hurt him. So I think. Yeah, maybe if he'd had a winning record or at least like made a couple deep playoff runs where, you can look at those, then I think he'd probably be in. But yeah, I think so much of that in any sport is like how the public views it. And so they care the most about, they care about wins and watching them in the playoffs. So yeah, I'd say it would help.
So speaking of Hall of Fame and public perception and knowing you're a big baseball fan, then, with everything that happened with the Astros, does Verlander still get in? Because before this, he's a Hall of Famer.
Sure. I would say yes. I mean, as far as I know, the way they cheated only really affected the hitters. So I mean,
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's got a huge advantage coming out if they're up 2-0, 3-0 or
oh,
something like that. Then
that's fair. That's a fair point. But I just think with his numbers and the overall body of work of his career, I'd say he's. I mean, maybe it takes him from a first ballot to it takes him a few years, but I do think he eventually gets in. I don't think this
yeah,
is looked at with nearly the eye that steroids or anything are. I think he's maybe it takes him a couple more years than it would have, but I think he gets in anyway.
yeah. I hope he gets in. I mean, this is a pretty big asterisk for him, but
Sure, sure.
his numbers in Detroit were probably enough to get him in anyway before he
Oh
even
yeah,
went
that's
to.
yeah. His body of work. I think he's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's going to be getting in. Let's see, what else did I want to talk to you about? Oh, so you have recently discovered edibles. You're a fan of the edible?
Yeah. I actually earlier today I took one. I was timed it out to where it was like I'm early enough, so I'll come down before this interview, so I know it's coherent and all that. Yeah, no. At the age of 29, when it first became legal, because I'm an avid rule follower, I decided to I don't know see what it was all about, try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's something I've been enjoying lately. It doesn't
It
make
helps.
it like alcohol does. So I've been enjoying it.
It definitely helps getting through this quarantine a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, you think I could watch that many hours of Catfish without?
No, I have finished during quarantine. I've watched all 9 seasons of The Office, and I'm almost done with all 6 seasons of Community.
Nice. Had you seen those before?
So I had seen all of The Office. Community, I had only seen the first 3 seasons or 4 seasons that were on NBC or whatever it was. And then when they started jumping around, I stopped watching it. So now what I'm watching is all new to me, which has been good.
I'm in the exact same boat. I was a big Community fan, but I just didn't follow it when it was jumping around. So I'm in the same boat. So maybe I'll hop on Netflix and catch up on what I don't know.
Yeah, so far so good. I'm interested to see how they end it. I think it'd be great if they did a movie because I mean they always have the hashtag 6 seasons in a movie. I would love to see that movie. Like I wonder. Speaking of that, how many movies are getting written right now during this quarantine? you know, like
I mean, we got I don't know how many quality movies are being written, but
well,
yeah,
that's a solid point.
A lot of people with a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how many solid podcasts there are right now.
Oh yeah. No, that's why like I said, I'm starting making these videos, but I'm not encouraging people to watch them yet. I'll let you know when they're good. They're not yet. I mean,
I did.
If anyone subscribe to me, I'll be like, okay, this one. I like this one.
Yeah, I do like how in the one video you have up, you have like in the top right corner or whatever, like the math of what you won and the ROI and everything.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
like
the challenge right now is I don't know how to balance it to where it's like just talking about sports and bets versus like getting into the math of it because that's boring but I think it's interesting. So I'm trying to work out the balance of all that. But yeah. No, I like it. I love keeping track of that stuff and yeah.
Have the edibles made that more interesting or more difficult?
Oh, I gotta separate that. I can't.
You can't do it together.
I treat that like my day job. Look, I'm sober for this from these hours to these hours. Yeah, I can. No.
No, you can't do it. Can't do it. I
love my spreadsheets, but I can't. No, they get messed up when I mess up. Yeah.
So I haven't been high on stage in a really long time. But there's a show that I saw that somebody did at the Annoyance Theater that I always wanted to try. It was called We Took Edibles an Hour Ago.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I did see that. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, that That would be an interesting show. I wonder how that would go.
Oh, yeah. I love the concept of that now. Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
I
I'm sorry, I'm getting my
haven't been on any like serious stage high, but I've been on only, I think only the one time I have, and that was so I was, for my day job, I was in Montreal doing some work, and I did a show there on my last night in Montreal before I flew back, and it was sponsored by a weed magazine in like this warehouse. It was cool.
Yeah.
There were like vendors there, and the one thing I had was weed infused cotton candy. And it was great. They had it. They made it out of like the machine with the cone. It was. I was enamored. I was so excited. So I went up and I got it. But the one thing they didn't warn me about, they didn't tell me that this was like meant to be split between like 2 to 3 people. And I'm already like, and this is one of my first times, doing,
Yeah.
at all. So I have no tolerance, so that I don't remember doing my set at that show. I was told it went fine. The only thing I vaguely remember was just the thought, don't repeat a joke. Don't repeat a joke. Don't repeat a joke. And I remember getting a laugh at one point and thinking, I think they're just laughing because I repeated a joke. I don't think, but I don't know. So I've been told it went fine, but I'll never know for sure.
Yeah. So do you have a roommate, or are you by yourself on this quarantine?
So at the beginning of this, I had a roommate, and now she's moved out, and I've got another roommate coming in July. So yes, and right now by myself, but it's fluctuated.
Wow. You had a roommate move out in the middle of quarantine? How was that?
Yeah. I mostly slept through it, so it was fine. She had movements come, and yeah, so that part was fine. I mean, she did at one point. She was sick with like the COVID symptoms while we were living together, but I still haven't had any symptoms ever. So
Nice.
I'm hoping, my hope is that I've had it and was asymptomatic, and now I'm good. But that's just optimism. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Are you excited to have somebody to talk to on a regular basis in about a month?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That'll be nice. Yeah.
You're just going to give them like a little warning, like, I've been here for about 2 months by myself. So.
Well, it's a good friend of mine, another comic, Derek Molds. We're good buds, so we'll transition well. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, hey, before we get going here, one of the things we like to do is just called a little segment called Ambushed, where I have no idea what it is in here, and we'll take a look and give it a little talky talk. All right. This is from my 9-year-old daughter, Zebra. Zebra. Do you have a favorite animal? Yeah, like a safari type animal?
I'm a big, and I know this is probably hack at this point, but I'm a big tiger guy. I love tigers. I've always loved tigers. Yeah.
Did you watch The Tiger King?
Of course, yes. I'm alive in America right now. But I've been a Tiger fan for a while. In college, I did a spring break, like alternative spring break volunteer trip out to this place that rescued tigers out in like similar to what Carol Baskins had, but in North Carolina, and much less snowy.
Slightly less murder.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I had heard. I think everyone there was fine. I think everyone there was still alive. All that I knew. But yeah, we got to like essentially clean like tiger cages and just I don't know, general volunteer stuff there, I guess. But they taught us how to interact with them. Like I know how to make a sound that I can get the tiger to make the sound back at me, and that was like the coolest thing in my life.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's called a chuffle. And the best part is I tried it at a zoo afterwards, and it worked. And I got so excited. Like this tiger at the zoo made the noise back at me, and I freaked out. It was awesome.
Are you confident enough now to make a chuffle?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's just it's almost like a horse thing. Just
nice. What kind of is that a way that they typically communicate, that tigers communicate to each other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. it's supposed to mean like that they're just like okay with you.
Oh, okay.
Like that they're comfortable. So yeah. So I don't know. I've always had a very comforting vibe, so it doesn't surprise me. No one's been scared of me, I don't think. So
It's the mustache is new though. I like the
mustaches. Yeah, I've been. My work joke for this is that this is my COVID-19 update, and it kills with the work meetings. I'm not proud of it, but the coworkers love it.
I love that it's like you've got your Colts hat, your St. Louis shirt, and your Ditka stash. Like,
oh
yeah. So knowing that you're a Tiger fan and you have that relationship with them already, what was your kind of take on Tiger King? What did you think of all of that?
I mean, it was insane. I don't know. It was just the most insane thing I've ever seen. I think my favorite part was still like when I realized that I had seen this guy already on the John Oliver.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah,
that just like blew my mind. Like, oh, that guy. Oh, yeah. And that was a fun moment. But I don't know. Yeah, that whole thing obviously was just insane. And I don't know if there is a good side to be on. So
no,
it's just.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I actually grew up in Oklahoma, and since Tiger King, like I have to tell people, like not that Oklahoma. Like I grew up in a city. It was pretty urban. I didn't grow up there. But the funniest thing to me about that show, I think it was episode 5 or 6 when he was running for governor, and he loses. But the thing that just blew my fucking mind, like I couldn't believe it. If you look at the TV that's on behind him when he loses, I think it was during the primaries. But if you look at Joe Exotic, they put the numbers up behind, and he got 19% of the vote, man.
Yeah. Oh, that was great. Well, wasn't it? I think it was just like a libertarian primary, wasn't it, or something?
I think so.
Yeah. So it wasn't like 19% of Oklahoma voters, but still, that's still a lot more than yeah. Yeah, that was amazing. It was like 19, double digits. Yeah,
exactly. 19% of any group voted for him.
It wasn't like an embarrassing loss. It was
right.
Like he looked like he did respectably, which is insane.
Insane. All right, let's see what else we got here. Long conversations. That's an odd one.
Yeah, I don't.
It's weird. Like, it's weird to me. Like when I think about like what I'm doing now with All Talk, I've really enjoyed this and it's been a lot of fun. But I hate talking on the phone. You know, like.
Yeah, I agree. And well, for me, it's less like the actual conversation, and it's more the ending. I can't end a phone call. I can't end a real life conversation I'm not horrible at, but a phone call I cannot end. I don't know how to end it in a non-awkward way. Like my mom and I have just recently got like a good rhythm to our ending. You know, like that just recently. So because I don't want to be the one that says goodbye because I'm like, oh, you probably wanted to talk more. Now you think I'm being rude and forcing you off the phone. But at the same time, I really want to get off the phone. So I don't know.
Exactly. When I first like heard of text messaging and it started becoming a thing, I'm like, this is dumb. And then like my first time I kind of started to get into it and I'm like, this is amazing. Like this is like, I don't have to call you and have a whole conversation. I can just send you my question.
Yeah, that's great. Oh yeah. Cause I mean, I've been like FaceTiming and calling my parents a lot more now with the COVID stuff. But before this, it was like, if they're calling me, I'm like, okay, I know this is serious, and like, because otherwise they would have texted me. So it's like, it's a nice line of demarcation now. I'm like, oh crap, someone I know is calling me. Big news.
Yeah, exactly. I should answer.
Yeah.
All right, we got one left here. Ooh, lava lamp. Ooh. Lava lamp. You ever have one?
Yeah, for like a short period of time. I think it was one of those things that I think I saw it at like Walmart or something and made my mom get me, and then like just it never like I never had it on or cared about it. Like I remember having one for a very short period of time and losing interest very quickly. I had to have it at the time. Yeah.
I can tell you why that came up is because of my 9-year-old daughter who wrote the words tonight. She has one and she was getting into bed and I went in and I'm like, hey, I need some stuff for tonight. I need some words. And I guarantee you she was looking over at her lava lamp and was like, oh, lava lamp.
Yeah.
And she's got all kinds of lighting. So like she's got the lava lamp. She's got like this neon like Sunday thing that, like the dollar section out of Target. She's got these twinkle lights that hang like over a canopy that has a remote to it. And these are all things like she saved up and bought with her allowance. Like, I want to get this. So she just bought like a light bulb that screws into the ceiling that has a remote and does all this stuff now. So like you go in and it's like, oh, the fuck are you sleeping in there? She's got like all of this shit on.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome though. Yeah, I don't have any of that.
No, me either.
I got lights and I got a lamp, and that's as much as I need. Yeah.
Have you gotten anything to like help it like entertain you or anything during the quarantine where you're like, I don't really need this, but considering the situation, I'm gonna get it?
Yeah, a couple things. Well, a couple like video games that I probably wouldn't have bought otherwise. Like I upgraded my MLB The Show to the most recent year. I just wanted to play that. And I got a this is weird, but like a push-up board to where you can like position your hands in different ways to work different muscles. And boy, oh boy, did I think I was going to use that a lot. And I mean, it's not covered in dust yet, but it's just, I'm just like, oh no, I prefer regular push-ups. I don't care if this is better for me. It's hard, and I don't want it to be hard.
So I've been running a little bit. I've bought a couple of things, but there's one big purchase that I got. But the one thing that I got that I really enjoy is really good exercise, really easy, and really hard at the same time is I got a jump rope.
I got one too. I swear to God, I got one during this. Only thing is I live in like an apartment with high enough ceilings. The ceilings aren't the issue, but when I jump, everything shakes and it like, I don't know, my TV started acting weird the first time I tried to use it, like in my apartment. So I'm just like, all right, maybe I'll go outside and try at some point, but I'm breaking the electronics in my apartment, so I can't.
So I've got the jump rope that I try outside, and then the gift that I bought myself is I bought a fish tank. Like fish tanks to me are just so calming and relaxing. So I was like, I need something that's not a TV that I can stare at for a really long time. So I got that, but I did forget for my birthday. I use it quite a bit. We have really high ceilings. We're in my basement now, and we have 14-foot ceilings in the basement.
Nice.
And it's a big wide area. So for my birthday, my wife got me a huge net that I can actually hit golf balls into. Full on swing golf balls.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
yeah, dude.
That is great.
Yeah,
I'm terrible at golf, but that sounds like fun. Like if I'm on the road for, either comedy or my day job, if I'm near a Top-Golf, I'll just go and.
It's so much fun, right? Like I shoot like low 90s, which is fine. I'll take it. But the thing that's great about like if you're at a Top-Golf hitting into a screen, or if you're just hitting into the net or everything straight down the middle of the fairway. I'm always like, oh, I just crushed that.
Yeah.
But I do have to tell you, it takes a little bit to get comfortable swinging a golf club full speed in your house.
Fair. Yeah, I'd imagine that's the case. Yeah.
I'm like, you can kind of see in the video, the edge of the video right there, like that's my TV right there. So I'm like swinging a golf club in front of my TV, like.
Yeah, especially with me, because I've hit in front of those, like, because we do, the company I work for has a golf outing every year, and beforehand, we could warm up in these like cage things where they have nets and you hit into them, And though there's been a few times where I've hit, you know, perpendicular, and I'm like, oh, that's dangerous. I shouldn't. Oh, I shouldn't be allowed out here. 'Cause, I mean, there's like 3 people in my company that golf outside of the golf outing every year, so it's kind of a shit show, which is, you know, the joy of it. I guess you just kind of smoke a cigar and play golf.
Yeah.
You don't care. You don't worry.
Exactly. Yeah. There's nothing like playing golf and having a cigar, man. Like I just love to get out. And for me too, like the thing that I love about golf that I recently learned, well, not recently, probably that's how old I am now. Probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer, I learned that if I walk when I play golf instead of ride, I play much better because like if I hit a shitty shot, which, you know, it happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, every now and then. If I walk to it, I'm calmed down by the time I get there. But if I have the cart, when I get there, I'm still pissed off and I just hit another bad shot.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I've only walked a few times. I mean, I don't play, like I said, I don't play golf that often. I've only walked a few times, and I would agree with that 100%. Calming down and just it also like releases that like that nervous energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I remember the first time I ever walked 18. I was actually living with my grandparents at the time to save some money. I have to move in with my girlfriend, now wife. And my grandpa, huge golfer. So by this time he was too old, he wasn't playing anymore, but I went and played golf and I came back and he always called me boy. He always called everybody boy. And so I get home and he's like, how'd you play, boy? And I'm like, you know, Grandpa, we walked and I am just super tired. I haven't walked 18 holes before. And that was like the quintessential wrong person to say you were tired. Like, what?
Yeah. No, never. Never complain about walking to an old person. Oh my God.
I know, right? Because he proceeds to tell me about how, like, when he was my age and younger, he had a paper route that he would deliver 200 papers in the morning. He would get to the golf course, play 9, caddy 72, play another 9, and then ride his bike home. And I'm like, yeah, my bad, Grandpa.
He never had the Fitbit to prove it. So
exactly, didn't happen.
Yeah. Don't show the steps, Grandpa. Come on.
Exactly. Well, hey, man, thanks for hanging out and talking with me for a little bit. It's been a lot of fun. You want to plug anything? I know you got a website. Want to plug a website or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. Just DerekGraff.com. All social media is Derek W. Graff. And other than that, no. Like I said, if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's not good yet, but it will be eventually if I keep working at it. So, but yeah, just DerekGraff.com and then my social media, wherever you can find me.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks again for hanging out. It was good catching up. I'm glad you're healthy and well. The mustache is working.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've gone from 50-50 to like 65-35 on it. So I think I'm pro mustache now. Yeah.
Yeah, keep it for sure.
All right.
All right. Hey, thanks, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Talk to you later.